almost, I think it was like Tuesday last week when it kind of formed.
Yes.
But then just before
right.
landfall, it jumped up to a Category 4, 140-mile-per-hour winds, and we started to see the devastation in that Big Bend area. It was unbelievable.
It was. I mean, they're still they're gonna take a while to even get the roads back to normal down there. Also in North Carolina, and overlaid underneath this, I guess, or is that above it? Underneath it, yeah. The pink color there, that's any rainfall. Those are those rainfall accumulations over 6 inches.
Oh, over 6 inches, and that's what we're gonna also start to talk about here, because we kept saying that there were gonna be some incredible rainfall amounts, and when we looked in North Georgia, the mountains of South Carolina, the mountains of North Carolina, we saw the potential there of anywhere from 12 to 24 inches. And even coming into Helene, there were some areas that were already seeing some tremendous amounts of rain. And look at that. Outside of Hendersonville, the past 7 days, they've seen nearly 40 inches of rain. You look into upstate region of South Carolina, nearly 2.5 feet. I mean, you think about this, Jacqueline. You can say it on TV, which we did, but I don't think that's people grasp that kind of rainfall by any means.
I mean, it's hard to visualize that sort of rainfall, and unfortunately now we're seeing the pictures come out, but just devastation. Also, I know Florida also had that storm surge, so just a lot of water, and we know water is the #1 cause of fatalities, unfortunately, in tropical systems.
Right. And, we're looking at this in North Carolina, but we did have our own problems in Virginia as well. Now, look, it's not to the magnitude that you're seeing out of Asheville or Boone or near App State in North Carolina, but, I mean, Blacksburg, 3.5 inches, all the way to just about Big Stone Gap, nearly 10 inches. We did have areas of tremendous flooding in Western Virginia. We had Chesterfield fire crews that went out there to assist in relief efforts and to recover people who were stranded. And now the Red Cross is out there as well. And we're still seeing some rain today, and we saw it over the weekend as well.
Yeah, and I mean, all that rain out west is also causing us those unsafe conditions on the James River. It's all just flowing down to our area. That we didn't see that much rain, but we definitely saw a lot of rain upstream.
Should have put that rainfall of the
I know.
James River flooding.
Now I was just thinking that too.
So let's just this past weekend, yesterday, the James River was about 12.5 feet. It's below that right now, but due to the rainfall yesterday, last night, and more rain to come, we're projecting it will jump back up to flood stage, which is 12 feet or more in the next 24 hours. So really, we want people to stay off the James.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, and you could see it in any of the cameras we show, all the debris floating down. I was by the river Saturday, and I saw it with my own eyes, just so many tree limbs down there, even tree stumps. Just flowing down the river.
Really ridiculous. Especially if you were down at the Folk Fest. You're right there at Tredegar. You can see, and hear the roar of the water going through.
And they actually put, I guess it was hay down everywhere because it was so muddy from all the flooding.
The rain that we had, It seems like every time we get the Folk Fest, it rains.
Or the State Fair.
Or the State Fair, both of which happening this weekend.
Yes.
All right, so Helene was a big deal. It then, let's just go back to the graphic for a quick second. It then died out in Kentucky. But the key here is that it's kind of, as a dying out system, it's drifting back over us today. And that's why we're seeing some showers and we have the risk of some thunderstorms. I'm going to skip back ahead of this graphic real quick here, because now we have new areas that we are watching in the tropics. And Jacqueline, let's hope that we don't have another sort of Helene coming our way.
I know. Unfortunately, I mean, we are very active in the tropics. Not only do we have a couple areas we're watching, but also a couple of storms, which we'll talk about. But this area in the Gulf, it has a 40% chance over the next week to develop into an organized tropical system. And I guess later in the show, we'll show you the sea surface temperatures and some of that shear, but it's going to move through, the warm Gulf, but at least it dropped down. It was 50% earlier.
Right.
So something to not super get worried about just yet, but something definitely we are watching, and make sure you stay updated with the forecast.
And one of the things that we're starting to see, and we see this all the time when it comes to winter storms, and now we're seeing it more and more with tropical systems, is people who, know different model sites, and they'll post one picture from one model, rather than, seeing, did it do this before? Did it do it before then? What is the trend?
Yeah.
They're just saying, look out X and watch out Y, category 5 coming at you. And nothing could start more panic and more fear in people who have just been hit by a Helene or maybe last year by, different storms. You just don't want to do that. And so this morning, I came into work and I'm looking at all the different models as you do. And there's no idea that this might even form on some of the models. So it's like we've gone from ramping it up to let's bring it back down.
And a lot of the people that post that aren't even meteorologists.
Correct.
They're just trying to get clicks. So don't listen to them. Listen to me and Maddie D.
There you go. I like that. All right. So there's another area out in the eastern Atlantic which has an 80% chance of developing in the next 7 days.
Yes.
We're in that active time.
Yeah, we are. And, I mean, even underneath that overlay there, we also have another storm, which we'll talk about. I believe that's Joyce. But, yeah, very active out there.
Yeah.
And we are past now, I guess, the peak of hurricane season, which was technically September 10th. But that doesn't mean we can't have a lot of activity now, and we're seeing that.
Those waters are super warm.
Yes.
All right, so there's a number of things that, we focused so much on Helene, but while Helene was out there was a storm out in the central Atlantic, and its name was Isaac, and Isaac is still a post-tropical storm, and it is heading up toward the British Isles. It is not a factor in our weather at all, but it could bring some nasty conditions up into the British Isles.
Yeah. I mean, and we were not focusing on that because it's just a fish storm.
Right.
And it's not going to impact us. But that's been out there for quite a while.
It has been. Another fish storm is Joyce. And Joyce is a tropical depression and will pretty much be a non-existent thing come tomorrow or Wednesday. Yeah.
And that was what you saw over the 80% chance graphic.
Was that it, or was
I think it was.
Was it Kirk?
Oh, it was Kirk. You're right.
Yeah.
It was Kirk.
Kirk, which actually just formed an hour ago. Yeah.
It was Kirk. You're right.
So Kirk is a tropical storm. And look at this thing ramp up, Jack.
Yes. I mean, yeah, that's going to get into a Category 3 hurricane. It likely will, I don't want to say definitely, but we have that high pressure system moving in, and our weather pattern is going to help that keep it away from our area. But still, very active out there. We have to watch those patterns, make sure nothing reaches our area.
Which would be great. Look, so one thing we have going for us, this time of year, we often get those big, cool Canadian highs coming across the Great Lakes, settling over the Northeast, and that acts as usually is the key, a big blocking mechanism. So we can get spared from tropical systems, at least coming at us directly from the east. Now, we can get what we saw last week, which is the remnants of some system like a Helene coming up out of the Florida Panhandle, Florida Gulf, or something like that, and then we get rain that way. So you mentioned the sea surface temperatures, Jack. I think this is important because some changes have happened here.
Yeah, and I don't know if anyone watching remembers, but I think last week when we showed it, 86 degrees was what we were really seeing. Even some areas had 87 degrees in the Gulf. And because Helene went through, it was a very strong storm, you have this upwelling, which brings up that cooler water. And, we know we just need 80 degrees for tropical development, but still it is cooler, which is good news and to some degree. But 80, 83, 84, 85.
It's a little bit cooler.
Yeah.
Look, it's still bathwater, right?
Yeah,
and
it still is. Yeah.
We still know that something could develop if given the right opportunity. And so we have that wave down there. We know we have warm waters. And of course, we always want to look at the shear.
Yes.
And it does look like the shear is pretty light from the southern Caribbean. You see the big gap developing there into the Gulf. So there is the chance that if this thing starts to get organized, it could develop. But again, right now, it's not well organized, but again, that's why it's an area to watch, Jack.
Yes.
That's why we keep saying 40% chance in the next 7 days.
Yep. And something we'll keep our eyes on.
So let's just recap this. We had Helene, we have Isaac, we have Joyce, although it's falling apart. Kirk just formed.
Yes.
We have a new area that's 80%, one that's 40%. So we technically could be looking at Leslie and Milton.
And 2 weeks ago, I think we were dealing with Francine, so we went real fast down that list.
We did. I don't even remember Gordon. Like
I do. It was the fish storm.
Right. No, I get you.
But
I
yeah.
mean, it was, we were so focused on Francine or Helene. I mean, that these things just kind of happen. You don't even, remember to see them.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's talk about this. So we've just gotten some rain here. And overnight last night, officially at the Richmond airport, we had 0.95. I didn't put it in the Monday there, even though we are Monday, because we might get more rain today.
Yes.
But I did add it into the monthly total. So if you were to add up all those numbers, you'd say, Matty D, that doesn't make sense, because I've already added in what we got, at least in the past 24 hours at the Richmond airport. Still, though, Jack, I mean, this is way below where we should be for the month of September.
Yeah, we should be around 4.5 inches usually for the month of September. So a lot of dry days there. We did get a good dosing of rain recently, so that's certainly good news. Our drought monitor will come out Thursday, so that will hopefully help. But then we have more rain chances on the way, too.
We do, which is kind of good today and tomorrow. But before we get to that, you keep saying this. Your favorite month is coming up here.
Yes,
October.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tomorrow. Oh,
Tomorrow.
I love it. Look at that. 66 degrees is the average high. October 31st. That's just beautiful.
Is it really beautiful?
Yes.
I just don't think so.
Hoodies. I could wear my Uggs, my jeans. Matt wants to make fun of me so bad. Pumpkin spice latte.
No, stop with the pumpkin spice latte. I don't ever want to make fun of you. I like my heat. I
know
my
you do.
Summer, and so look, I wasn't gypped in summer this year. We had some great weather this summer. I love
great as in
it was
heat
hot.
humidity.
Yeah,
You're crazy.
That's what you want.
Anyone watching, comment saying what if you like fall or summer better.
So we actually have a question here, Jack. Laura King says, "What is the worst late season hurricane or tropical storm that Virginia has had?" Wow, that's an interesting question.
That's a good question.
It's a great question. Laura, off the top of my head, I'm going to have to think about that one, do a little research. I do remember 2 years ago, maybe it was 3. No, it was 2 years ago. We had a system that came into the Gulf on the day before Veterans Day, so November 10th, and came up here on November 11th, Veterans Day, and we had tons of tornado warnings like we just had with Helene, but these were more over us versus western or eastern part of the state. But in terms of direct impact from a tropical storm or hurricane,
I don't know that either.
Yeah, I kind of think that so if I think about this, Irene was a late September. Obviously, Isabel was a mid-September, which many people remember here. Sandy was a Halloween storm.
Yes.
We got brushed by it, and especially our coastal communities had a tremendous storm surge or Chesapeake Bay slosh, which is where the water banks into the fingers, as I call them, of Virginia, and then releases as the storm moves away. So I want to say Sandy, October 30th, 31st, November 1st was probably the closest and latest brush, at least off the top of my head. So
I remember that storm too. I was in Long Island. We had no power for a while.
I mean, it did tremendous damage from Jersey through Long Island through the southern boroughs of New York City. In fact, I think it dropped about a foot of snow or more out toward Wintergreen. Because it got cool enough. Pretty interesting. And by the way, Jackie, just so you know,
fall?
Nope. Jane Dalton and Cheryl Powell both said, I agree with Matt, summer weather. Yes.
Is he lying? Is that really
No,
there?
it's exactly what I'm saying there. Jane Dalton does ask, how much snow does it look like we will get in this area this winter? Jane, you're asking a question that John Bernier, Jackie, and myself are discussing right now. You're going to have to hold on. Here's the big tease. We're going to have that for you in early November when we release our winter forecast. But there are some things going against the potential for snow. That's all we'll say right now. So.
And also, it's mainly you saying you canceled snow to what?
Well, I have canceled snow till January of 2030, correct. So, but we'll see. So, Jane, just hold on. We'll get that. Thanks for asking questions, by the way, everyone. We truly do appreciate that. Really great of you to come on in here. All right.
No, someone wrote fall. I'm looking on my phone now.
Laura King wrote fall.
Thank you, Laura.
Yeah, okay. I missed that one because I wanted to focus on summer.
Missed.
All right. In the meantime, here we go. Michaela Messick said, I feel like we have had a lot of rain this year. So, Michaela, yes, we, January, February, March, and April, we got super soaked. May, we started to turn a little dry, especially toward the end of the month. June was actually dry, if I remember correctly.
June or July was very dry.
No, June was dry, and then the last 2 days, we got soaked because we almost broke
the top 10. I remember we made that graphic.
Yeah, I think we're like top 2 in the driest. We were really excited to get that, right? But we didn't. Okay, so then we had July was kind of so-so. August was kind of so-so. We started running through the drought at that point, right? And then, of course, September, we have been wet, so we'll see. Usually September is dry month. And I say September's been wet really in the past 4 days.
Yeah.
We're still running a deficit because, as you said, Jack, 4.6 inches what we should have, and we just showed a graphic there. I think I can back it up.
Well, we don't have the
2.87.
Oh,
right.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
No, but at least you have. So we're down by about 2 inches for the month of September.
And we usually get around 3 to 4 inches in October. I think that was on that graphic.
I'll go ahead to that next graphic. For the October graphic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So about 3.5 inches.
Yeah, so not super bad. So, fall can typically be dry here. It can be pretty pleasant, And this rain will help out the rivers and streams, but it's also keeping us temperate. So when we get those cold snaps coming in October, hopefully our colors will be rather vibrant. Ebony says,
What to expect?
What to expect for the weather today? Well, look at that.
That's our last graphic.
That's our last graphic.
You read our minds.
Good job there, Ebony. All right, Jack. So we still have, as I've been calling it all morning, the ghost of Helene, the remnants of Helene. Not that it's anything what Helene once was, but still kind of spinning around us. So scattered showers and storms. And if you were in Nottoway, Chesterfield, Amelia last night, it came down in buckets.
Yes. I woke up before my alarm because I heard the downpours.
Right.
Like, this is kind of a nice way to wake up, though.
It is for sure. And we could have some heavy downpours at any point today or tomorrow. But then,
you say that, but I know you're just waiting for that heat and humidity.
Yeah, but I want the sun. I mean, look,
that's fair.
We have been gray since Thursday.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Saturday was gorgeous.
Yeah, Saturday was
Saturday
nice.
Was an unbelievable.
Yesterday, the sun broke out for a bit, too.
For a bit, yeah. We had an 86 yesterday, by the way. It actually got warm. Yeah. So, anyway, enough about that. So, if you're kind of in the doldrums, you want the sunshine, Wednesday through Monday is the weather for you. So, but today, tomorrow, scattered showers and storms, some quick heavy downpours possible. Again, not everyone will see them, but if you do, just be mindful of that.
And stay off the James River.
Stay off the James. All right, Jack, any final thoughts about all the good stuff we talked about today?
No, I was just seeing if we have any last questions. No.
Looks
Happy almost October.
Happy almost October. Stay away from the pumpkin spice, and remember, it is Turkey Bowl season, everyone.
And pumpkin spice, and carbon pumpkins, haunted houses, so many things to look forward to.
I love Jack. She's fantastic. Anyway, y'all have a great day. We'll see you next week for Weather University.